I mean, it was on our acquisition list. We get one.
Oh, well, there you go. Yep.
I put it in crayon and everything.
Having watched another 5 or 10 Warhammer 40k lore videos, now I've sort of understand why this planet is completely fucked. I don't even know why we're fighting for it anymore.
What you're talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't remember what planet we're on, but I did watch the lore video about orcs, so...
The orcs will never leave.
Well, yeah, I don't know why you fight...
They really...
I don't know why you fight for a planet that has any orcs on it.
Because it's your planet.
Well, it's not my planet.
It belongs to man. It belongs to mankind.
Yeah, but you might as well just exterminate this bitch and move on.
That is not wrong.
I mean, because the orcs aren't going to leave. Like, physically, they're not going to leave because of the way that orcs reproduce.
Right, so you just fight them for the rest of eternity. That's all you gotta do. You can live for an eternity, right?
I guess. You turn this place...
I know some Necrons who can get it to you for cheap.
You turn this place into, like, a training camp. Let's just keep the orcs. I don't know, you can't even keep the orcs pushed back because they'll just spawn all over the place.
That is actually a funny idea. Yeah, this is basically just training camp. It's like, yeah, if you survive this one, we'll send you to a real campaign. It's like, what? You mean that orc infestation? Yeah, it was nothing. We could just bombard with artillery forever. It doesn't matter. They're surrounded.
Well, I mean, finding out that Armageddon has a orc population, it's like, wait a second, isn't that like one of the main planets for one of these groups?
Gosh.
It's like, how does that have orcs on it?
I tried finding the image at some point, and it's like Planet of Guardsmen, population 100 billion guardsmen, orc presence low.
Well, it's because it's where the warg came in from that when they crashed their space hulk into it. It's like, wait a second, that's the homeworld for one of these companies. How is it? How is this still a thing?
Yo. And it's a toxic cesspool too. So.
Yeah, it's a hive. It's almost like a hive death world.
It's making it sound more and more exciting for me. Alright. So, who wants to do the recap as to where we left off?
Good question.
Well, you're the sergeant now. It's your problem.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, yeah, Raygun reporting for duty. Last time, we finally managed to get back to base camp, wherein we went to get ourselves stitched up, and we were presented with an investigation that would happen into Raygun and his movements. Over the next couple days to a week, I think it was a little bit abstracted. It seems the investigation is probably going to get him killed, at which point he got himself promoted to sergeant by buying some beers. George won a crate stacking competition with the servitor, and then won a punching competition with the admech. The admech got in with some ratlings who were managing some vehicles, and they're best friends now, I think. Oh right, and the previous sergeant is dead.
Yeah, he got fucking rocket sniped.
Right. I think the fight happened before the start of last session, or am I completely mistaken in that? And he actually died that session.
No, yeah.
Yeah, in which case, start of the session was the sergeant got ambushed by purple orcs and managed to win single-handedly, and then stood up on the embankment and got rocket sniped.
Yep.
Is that the way we're choosing to remember it?
That's what happened.
Yeah, a moment of glory followed by a moment of folly.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't win single-handedly. A commissar came by, helped him out.
Well, he won single-handedly versus his own orc.
Actually, he did kill one orc all on his own.
Did he, though? Because the orc was still still
I
alive.
think I only stabbed it for like 1 damage or some shit.
No, I just mean that the orc gave up, bent over, and he was trying to kill it when he got rocket sniped.
Yeah. He won the fight, and then after a bloody attempt to kill it, finally put it out of its misery.
I just want to say, conceivably, that orc is still alive.
Conceivably.
He's just there, twitching a little bit. He can't speak anymore. He's just like, this is fine.
I mean, if you
I believe we had handled it as Laszlo did manage to finally saw through the thing's head and neck. So he did manage to kill it and decapitate it. It just took him so long to do it that the little Gretchen hiding out in the corpses were able to get a bead on him and take a couple pot shots,
Right.
blowing his leg off and sending
Mhm.
bone, shrapnel, and gore scattering across the forward observation.
And I think the best way to wrap it up is the squad, thanks to all the efforts of Raygun to save his own life, has now been signed up for a suicide squad mission where they will be too far away for him to be court-martialed and executed.
Oh, and I have
With the
Laszlo's fee here,
Inquisition.
too.
Yeah, that is accurate.
But they gave us a requisition list, and there's a chimera on it.
What is this? Some sort of suicide squad?
Title drop. There we go.
All
So-
right, now that we've said the title of the whole fucking thing.
exactly. So,
All right.
yeah, go ahead.
So effectively, where we're going to start off today is determining. We're going to hopefully get you guys off on the right footing by having you do logistic rolls.
Yeah, there we go.
So, for those of you who want to do actual logistic rolls for your independent gear, effectively, you're going to be able to try and roll for that based on all of the measurements. But before we get to that, we're going to have the mission critical gear. And effectively, we're going to have each of you do one of the rolls. So,
Okay.
we're going to have the lovely, recently minted sergeant roll for the most important one, which is your transportation.
Yeah.
So, roll me a D100. You're trying to get under a 40 for this.
Let's go. Hey!
That is
37.
all right. You've managed to not get anything special, but also not get anything terrible. Well done.
But we do have it, which is the important part.
Oh yeah, that is the important part. Speaking of which, let's see here. Let us have Tabor roll the next one for all the additional fun gear.
All right. Oof.
What was that, buddy?
78.
78. All right, that's gonna be.
What did we just lose is the question.
So as you guys are standing at the front of the main base, sort of waiting for all you were given your area to stand there and wait in formation until the Inquisitor and the rest of the team was set up for you. And sure enough, you are all standing out there in the light, drizzling rain that seems to be constant on this planet, and you can hear the grumbling engines of a armored personnel transport known as a chimera. And as its treads sort of churn up the mud and pull up to a stop in front of you, you notice that the very front has a heavy flamer in the sort of like front gun section, and the top has a twin-linked set of bolters. This is the standard pattern chimera for the Krieger regiments. It does look a little bit dented and worse for wear, but it seems good enough to get the job done. And
Alright.
as the back ramp drops and the Inquisitor comes out, you know him as Inquisitor Lamont. He comes out with his giant box, and he goes, "So, good news and bad news. The good news is I've managed to procure us transportation. The bad news is, well," and you see he has this ornate box, and it's covered in the iconography of the ecclesiarchy.
Mhm.
Let me see. You guys rolled with how many degrees of failure?
On the 78, if it was a 40, that'd be a
3.
difference of 38, so yeah.
All right. So roll me. Let's see here. Random issue gear. Let's see what you guys got. Minus 20 penalty. Roll 3 times. Roll 3 D100 minus 20.
You want me to roll it?
Oh yeah.
99 packs of field rations.
All right, so it's a 43, a 24, and a 26.
Set of 43.
Yeah, this is without the minus 20.
I got it. So you got a 33. So fantastic. And we're just gonna use the rest of those rolls in case anybody else fails. But you see the Inquisitor, he opens up the book and he goes, I had specifically requested for sacred seals in the event that you came across any sort of unusual phenomenon, or in the event you needed to bolster yourselves against any sort of depredations of a non-natural origin. Sadly, we were only provided with this, and as he sets the box down, you pry it open and you see 100 copies of the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer.
Oh, we could make some paper mache body armor with this.
Well, we got
I
our
believe-
firewood.
I believe defacing the Uplifting Primer is a shooting offense. So
But
rather,
that's the trick. If they wear my paper mache body armor, they can't shoot me. Because then they'd be defacing it.
heretic! It's the most powerful armor against the guard. All right, Alexander, roll me the D100. Let's see what you get.
Oof.
Wow.
That is a hot 98.
That's impressive. You guys are off. You guys are definitely off on the right foot here.
I hope you wanted everything you could ever dream of, because you're gonna be
Hold on.
dreaming of it only.
Well,
All
at
I'm
least we
gonna
got the
say is
Chimera.
the Chimera has 30 front armor.
You watch as just one of the treads fall off the Chimera.
30 front armor.
I can fix it.
Oh gosh.
All right, so no sacred seals. All right. The good news is you do happen to get access to a giant pack with the first aid and medical symbols on it. What was that other? Was that second roll you gave me, Tabor?
There's
78.
a 44 on the roll.
Is that with a minus
Yeah.
20 or without the minus 20?
I don't believe you put the minus 20
Yeah.
on it.
So 24.
No, I didn't.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So you do have one giant pack of first aid materials. And last but not least, Arcloid, what would it's Private Bigby is your new Ratling, correct?
Yes.
You all watch as the Inquisitor sort of is setting things around. A Ratling is forced to drag out all the boxes. Roll me D100, and after you're done with that, describe what your character looks like to the rest of the team.
See, y'all complain, but a box full of first aid, you're gonna need it.
All right. Well,
75. Awesome.
of course, ratlings are short, little, thick set. His skin is pale but kind of gritty looking, as if somebody dragged him behind an old cinder road for a while, and it just stayed there. And his hair is a dirty ashen blonde. He looks just kind of beat up and weathered. But let's see, he's 25 years old, so he's still looking a little fresh. He's not completely green, but he is. I guess he would be old for a private.
Particularly in the Krieger regiments.
They went to the old folks'
Yeah.
home.
Ready. All right, so you get all your gear, and as you're setting the box to sort of go through it, you're also pushing it over to the side, strapping it in for the Chimera as everybody is able to get inside. And the Inquisitor looks at the group of you and goes, all right, if there's anything else that you all need, now is the time to go get it. And is there anything that you folks would like to try and get for yourselves?
I already have my data slate pre-written. That's the same thing I tried to get to Lieutenant before.
Yeah, and I'd like to clarify things on the Chimera so I could just have them off on the side over here too. And then I'll probably get something on my own. You said twin-linked bolters.
Yes, on the top of the...
Is that the turret or the hull-mounted weapon?
That is... Hold on a second. There is a golden retriever which has climbed underneath all of these tables just to mess with me.
No, the base golden retriever. It's taking the medical supplies away.
Yep, it has stolen all of your medical supplies and is now trying to corrupt you with its cuteness.
Ah.
Filthy Xeno scum.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's
good
easily
boy.
distracted by the ball.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, because there's a heavy flamer option for the whole mount and the turret mount.
correct. The whole mount has the heavy flamer, and the main turret has the twin-linked bolters.
Right, is that just the heavy bolter entry?
Double check real quick. Let's see here. It is. Yeah, you only got the 37, so you only have a twin-linked heavy bolter.
Alright, so that would be a different entry than the one listed there, correct? I'll go hunt it down.
Correct. Effectively, you'd just be using the storm bolter. So it's a double barrel design. So
Storm bolter. There we go.
Yep.
I'm gonna write that down. And there is no pin-tile weapon.
no, there is not.
Okay, good. So Theta, you can go ahead and do your personal stuff first.
Yeah, like I said, so I've already got it all down on a data slate. So I just need to hand it over.
All right, so each of you can request a thing. What would you like to try and request?
Well, if it's going to be a single item, bionic arm.
All right, let us
Ooh.
pull in a bionic arm. Do you have the?
Scarce.
It is scarce.
Yep.
All right, so you've been here for the front has been active for 3 to 6 months. So that's challenging 0. You're near victorious, so that's plus 10. You have a 10 points. Just regular logistics rating, and you've been here for. I'll say that you've been here not less than 3 months now. It's been actually, I guess technically this has been less than 3 months. So it's minus 10. So effectively you have a 10. And what's your scarce? There are multiple regiments. So yeah, take your roll.
Any chance I could make an argument that this is of vital mission importance?
If you would like to impress upon the Inquisitor that you replacing your arm for a bionic arm would be beneficial for this mission, you may.
Inquisitor,
charm
sure.
test.
I would like to impress upon you how vital this is that I replace my arm for this mission, sir.
See, he roll charm, and there is a penalty here. So effectively, you're gonna need like a 3.
Yeah, well, I
See
mean,
what you get.
8 or less. Minus, if I don't have anything, it'll automatically do that for me, right? It'll automatically do the minus 20. I'm asking.
If you don't have any clicks in there for charm, it'll automatically have your
Right.
social.
Yeah, well, we
No.
try.
Yeah, he looks at you and goes, so I am to understand that it is of vital importance that we put you in for an emergency surgery to sever your already functional arm to replace it with a robotic arm.
Due to the events of the last mission, it has become apparent to me that at least one of my limbs should be more functional than the others should my biological functions cease to function, so that I can then still replace and repair items vital to the necessary operation of this regiment, despite what may happen to me.
You realize I've heard the exact same argument from the last 4 engine seers I've had assigned to me.
Well, we are an intelligent bunch.
You're always thinking. Yes, and you never let a crisis go to waste. Sadly, we have a situation that needs immediate, solving. I can't afford to have you go undergoing a surgery and for us to wait for you to recover before we get it underway. We're leaving.
I need
now.
no time to recover. Simply cut the arm off. Shove something in its place. I will deal with the pain.
You are, as a tech priest, you're already well aware that is not how this bionic would work.
Right,
I mean,
but I am
potentially, if you
super
wanted a
desperate
hook.
for it. So, I mean, if I have to
He just
have
looks at you and
my
goes-
comrade, if I have to have my servitor weekend at Bernie's me onto this thing, I will do it.
He just looks at you and goes, "Get on the chimera." Or I could have you doing maintenance on the latrines for the rest of your detail here. It's vital work.
I have no nose. I'll get on the. I'll slip the data slate on there.
Scrubbing.
Literally, literally his threat means nothing to me since I'm a machine now. But I get on there. I'll slip my data slate back into maybe the next, maybe my next boss.
All right, Tabor. Is there anything else that is there anything that you would like to try for?
Believe you're muted.
Oh, no.
Oh, I am muted. I'm sorry.
Give you.
Should we get like a what's it called?
Puppy?
Yeah, we could get a puppy.
Limb popping.
Like a field suture or something, medikit.
Medical kit for the field suture.
Well, what was
Alright.
in that medical box that we got?
You guys didn't really check it, but I mean, it is a giant medical bag. But if
True.
you'd like
So
to
then we
get an
probably don't need
additional,
that.
if you'd like an additional suture, you can definitely roll for that.
I think then I'm gonna. Can I get a demolition charge?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is the rarity on the demo charge?
They're scarce.
All right. So yeah, again, you have a what is this? If it's scarce,
10% chance.
yep, 10% chance. Roll for it.
And then what do we roll?
D100.
1d100.
That's why I was
Oh,
trying to
D100.
make my plea because I needed any percentage.
That's fine. I didn't really need anything anyway.
Arcloid, is there anything you'd like?
I'm torn between an stub automatic and a shotgun of sorts.
Which one is
Do you
less
prefer?
rarity?
The stub automatic. I think it's abundant.
Average.
Oh, it's
Anything
average?
above
Really?
scarce, you're gonna have a 0% chance. So
So you have a 20 to get your average stub pistol.
All right.
You can do it. This is the highest
You
percentage
roll
option we have
D100?
ever had. Yep, 1d100.
And I failed.
All right, and last but not least, Sergeant. Is there anything you want?
I'd like to go for the grenade launcher, which is average availability.
Nice. All right. Do you want this to be mounted onto your weapon, or do you want this to be just an actual grenade launcher, like a separate weapon?
I think just the standalone is probably what I'm going for. I think the attachment is more complicated.
Yeah, I think that's scarce also. All right, so that is a 20. Go for it.
Oh, on average, it's a 20. Jeez.
Yep.
we ain't getting anything out of this game.
Yep, ain't getting it. I
Yeah,
just want
so
something to replace my throwing arm.
You piece together all the requests from your unit, and you hand it over to the ratling that works at the Munitorum, and he goes, we'll process this and get back to you in approximately 10 months. He puts it on the table and he goes, good luck on your mission with the Inquisitor. Have fun.
Yeah, that's what I'll call it.
No favor I could get through on that rattling, huh? Doesn't recognize my at all, huh?
Nope.
Oh, well.
You can, if you try to get it through the Inquisitor, if you'd like to work with the Ratling to see if you could get a bionic arm, you definitely may, but you'd have to get to it after this, as the Inquisitor is now. You can see the Chimera revving up. All the boxes that Private Bigby has now bolted down are good to go.
Oh yeah, no, I figured I burnt that bridge
And,
the moment
he's
I
ready
talked
to
to the
go.
Inquisitor about it.
Probably not a good idea. I mean, so if you survive this, you could always go back to the Ratland and ask about getting a bionic arm.
Hey, I could always get my arm blown off during this. That probably increased the argument a little bit.
Yeah, now it's like, alright, I see the importance now.
Look, no arms. I'm gonna need something.
Yeah, if you just intentionally mangle your arms as soon as you're heading back home, it'll be perfect.
You better believe we've already had the discussion about, okay, let me just cook these grenades and hold on to them.
Just when the door's closing, just throw your arm out real quick. And
Hey guys, look at that! Oh, Inquisitor, I'm gonna have to go back.
I mean, hey, that is always a potential. We could straight up mash, what is it, 4077 this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's why I start dressing up in women's clothes.
There you go.
Hey, Tavern, what's Jort's ballistic skill, by the way?
35.
35. Got it. Cool. That's all I needed to know.
Righty dighty.
What's this?
So-
Is Sergeant Reagan actually doing work?
That doesn't seem like it.
It's crazy.
Probably some sort of scheme.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably trying to
But-
sell firearms on the black market. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I just assume he's going to miss every shot, I can just go ahead and sell the gun real quick.
With all the bullets. Shell's gonna be worth something.
You go. Get yourself an extra ration.
Yeah.
But as you all pile into the Chimera, you see the Inquisitor has his own data slate, and he goes, Sergeant Raygun, I understand you're familiar with the operations of surface vehicles.
That's right. Years of training, and I got the brochure for the Chimera.
Fantastic. You're the driver.
Good.
And then he hands out these tiny little, almost like AirPods that you slide into your ears, and they're all chimed into his own sort of comm system.
Mhm.
And he goes, so, we have a few hours before we'll get to our destination. This seems the most appropriate time to brief you on what to expect in the coming few hours. And as he scrolls through his data slate, he goes, I'm not too familiar with, your familiarity with the geography of this planet. However, we are heading down to a place known as the Southern Valley. It's been pressed pretty sternly by the Greenskin Menace. They've been suffering a number of casualties and have had to pull out of the valley entirely to occupy defensive works on the opposing ridgeline. Currently, we had identified a particular structure in the center of that valley. It is an orchard that has been operating on this planet for centuries at this point. We have uncovered a number of different key identifying features that have come to the forefront of our attention, which is never a good thing. Now, I'm sure that you are all well and true keepers of the faith in the God Emperor of our fine Imperium. However, not everyone is. So we have been tasked with rooting out any form of heresy, witchcraft, or other forms of, idolatry that might plague this planet.
So some kind of cult, you're saying?
We don't honestly know. What we do know is that if this is indeed a member of a religious minority for which we are vehemently opposed to the existence of, chances are there may still be some items to recover that might illuminate the full presence on this planet of these heretics. And as he scrolls through, he goes, now we had assigned this place, we had designated it as an area that had to be held. Apparently, a mistake in the loading of munitions instead had the entire valley filled with a nerve agent,
Ooh.
which necessitated the evacuation of all of our forces. The good news is the orcs, as of yet, have had difficulty spending any amount of prolonged time in that chemical soup. Now, the nature of the valley means that the munitions haven't been able to blow away or dissipate. They've simply been concentrating. And as a result, I'm sure you experienced a minor form of it early on when you used chemical munitions against the Snotlings and Gretchen rocket snipers. But this is going to be far, far more hazardous to all of you. As a result, I've procured for you some state-of-the-art mop gear. And as he motions to one of the boxes, Bigby opens it up, and sure enough, there are a set of about 9 or so really not high-end hazmat suits, but good enough, certainly serviceable. You do notice that there's not enough for everyone, but he notices you noticing that, and he goes, now, One of the reasons I'm trusting you with all of this gear is because you'll be on comms the entire time. I'll be, well, supervising your efforts from a command post on the ridgeline. So, and he looks to you, Sergeant Raygun, and he goes, "You will be in command, and you are fully responsible for both the Chimera transport as well as all of the war gear that has been assigned to you. I expect it all to be returned at the end of this mission."
I understand, sir.
Now, we attempted to get a portable Gellerfield generator, but that fell through. And similarly, the advanced Auspex device I had requested, apparently someone had put together with spare parts on the forward observation post. So when they attempted to move it, it ceased to work. They're attempting to reestablish it back on the forward observation post, but that leaves us, and he sort of sets out just their standard Auspex. He goes, "Now we have this standard Auspex. We've managed to increase the range thanks to the dish on top of the Chimera. But effectively, you'll be going in blind. We haven't had any scouts nor any effective satellite imagery of this valley. But
Right.
I have full faith in your capability to handle it. Is there any particular questions before we move forward with the briefing?"
I guess the first thing is just to reiterate the mission goals. It's to go in, eliminate all opposition, and then recover any artifacts of interest.
Quite
That
the
correct?
opposite. On the off chance you do manage to find anyone there who is still breathing, obviously, so long as they don't pose a direct threat to yourselves, attempt to bring them in. Now, I can't imagine how they would have survived any form, any prolonged exposure to this nerve agent. However, you do have an extra suit available to you, and the Chimera itself is overpressurized. So potentially, if you can get them from their safe area to the Chimera before they come in contact with the gas, they should be fine. Similarly, anyone inside the Chimera while the overpressure system is working won't need to be inside of their mop suit. Now, admittedly, I find this highly unlikely to be the case. However, there have been a number of reports of soldiers going AWOL in the area. Now, we have investigated rather thoroughly to ensure that they haven't been sneaking back towards the cities. We have found neither hide, nor hair, nor mention of any of these AWOL soldiers, which leads us to believe that they have been venturing into the chemical soup in the valley.
If they're not already dead from that, then, well, I guess something really strange is going on.
Strange is the nature of our profession. Well, my profession at least. So, search through anything that could be of value, capture and transport safely any survivors. If you find any written materials, confirm whether or not it is relevant, drop it in the box, and you see him tap the uplifting primer box. He goes, and bring it back to me. If you do see something that is clearly hostile, don't hesitate to eliminate it. With luck, you'll be able to get in and get out before the orcs attempt to press on your position.
I'd say they'd be fools to try, but, well, they are fools.
They've tried several times already to cross. They've even strapped jetpacks to their backs and attempt to jump from one ridge to the next. They did not make it very far. However, the location that you are traveling to is closer to the orc side than ours, so be cognizant of that.
All right. Well, we have all we need for the mission, and I'll go ahead and turn to everyone else and go. Any questions?
No, sir.
Yeah, no, sir. Salute.
No, sir.
Fantastic. And he looks at all of you and goes, "With the Inquisition, we don't salute."
Oh, I was shooting the sergeant. He's an
Yeah,
officer.
I was saying no, sir. To
And we're not indoors, so I have.
You have to return it. That's just how it goes. Technically, you're inside of a vehicle, which is indoors, but whatever.
You know,
Yeah.
it makes more sense. It's a thing to me. Makes more sense to salute indoors than outdoors. Outdoors, you can be spotted an officer, which is a sniper might take,
Well,
a
you
bad
see, after
opportunity.
38,000 years, they got it all mixed up. It's in reverse now.
Side note, for the most part, it's not whether or not you're outdoors that you don't salute. It's if you are actually in the field. So in the field, meaning like on the firing line, beyond the wire, anything that would put you within eyesight of the enemy. Typically, you wouldn't salute at all. However,
the handbook, that crate of things we have there, it says always salute. So
it does. I believe it also says that if you waste water, you'll be pressed to death.
Well, thank God I don't drink water anymore. Thank the Emperor I don't drink water anymore.
Omnissiah be praised.
Yes.
So, the rest of the ride goes by relatively easily. Roll me an operate surface test there, buddy. And I believe the Chimera actually gives you a... Oh no, the maneuverability is +0. So
yeah,
you get
the
no
maneuverability is +0. However, I do have the integrated Common Mind Impulse Unit, which will give me a +10.
There you do. And you're on roads, and there's not a whole lot of traffic, so give yourself an additional +30.
Okay, so we're at +40 here for operate, correct?
Yep, you're just moving along.
With 7.3 additional degrees of successes.
Yeah, you are just cruising down this. Like you'll see some like
see me drift, boys?
you've gone up. There's been a couple of times where there's like civilian traffic on the road, and you just straight up go off. You go straight through a fence post, go around them, get back on the road, keep chugging. You make pretty good time, and before you know it, you guys are settling in, gradually going up and up and up into the valley or the ridge line by the valley. And as you're going, you notice that most of the green and lush area that you have been seeing is giving way towards the blasted and dug out trench works of a massive Imperial Guard defensive post.
Okay.
And you manage to navigate into the main gates. You pull to a stop, and as you pull to a stop, the Inquisitor presses a button. The back of the Chimera drops down, and you can see that there's already a sergeant standing there with like his handful of assistants to help out with the Inquisitor. As soon as the Inquisitor steps off, the sergeant just snaps a really like fine salute, and the Inquisitor goes, "We don't do. Take me to the comms office." He goes, of course," and it navigates him away. And in your earbuds, you can hear his voice go, "All right, I am transmitting you the location of the orchard and the farmstead. Now, there is a road that will lead you down most of the way into the valley. However, this whole area has been subject to a prolonged artillery exchange, so most of the roads there are no longer serviceable. As a result, you'll have to navigate through the woods on your own. Try not to get the Chimera stuck, otherwise you'll be forced to push on foot. Bear in mind that we're having a brief, halting of all artillery operations while you're inside that operational area. So if you need fire support, you do not have it. May the Emperor be with you."
All on our own.
And you see there's a little data slate built into the controls of the Chimera. As you look over, you're like, "Oh, there it is." And you have your navigation point. So as you wind your way down this pretty hazardous path down, roll me another operate surface.
All right. This time, of course, without an additional +30, but I do have
only
the +10 still.
And you have one more additional +10 because you are technically still on the road.
Okay, so +20 total.
Oh,
Successful at the very least.
As literally as soon as you give your sort of like your affirmative response to the Inquisitor, you back up, and as you're trying to sort of like three like do
3-point
your
turn.
three-way part, yeah, your 3-point turn, you back up, and everyone that's standing there and it's sort of just sitting there smoking and joking, you notice that most of these people don't have their mop gear on. They don't even have their gas masks on, but they're clearly not Krieger. This looks more like a PDF installation. And
Right.
while they're joking and like having their cigarettes, all of a sudden they all stop and turn and look at you. as the back end of your tread goes over the edge of the road, and like part of it just like from all the rain, it just starts a mild mudslide as it starts to go down, and you lose traction in a quarter of your treads. You manage to very briefly recover as like you're backing up, it starts to slide, and then just thankfully the horsepower of the treads of the Chimera managed to pull you up over the divot as you get back out of there and start heading down the valley.
Yeah, it would be a terrible take if it like immediately got stopped by like, oh yeah, there's an inch difference between the mud and the road. Oops.
Yep.
Stuck.
But for a moment, everyone just kind of goes, okay, he's good. You manage to navigate down the ridgeway, and you find yourself in this somewhat blasted terrain. Roll me a navigate surface. And you do have the waypoint, so this again is going to be a plus 30.
Yeah, and I don't think I have any object that changes with navigate here, so I'll just roll with plus 30.
Okie doke.
3.7.
So as you make your way down into this valley, you notice that most of the trees are completely barren and blown out. Also, everyone is right here.
Hey, we got our tank.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
As a
I'm
matter of
still
fact-
trying to get qualities down, trying to get spray.
So you have your tank, and I think assign this to anyone? No, naturally. But effectively, you can move one of these blocks at a time unless you want to press it, but you don't have much difficulty navigating this terrain. Most of the trees are completely barren, and the grass is withered. The nerve gas seems to even be affecting the plant life somehow, just by the sheer nature of its costive effects.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that you never asked the Inquisitor what type of nerve agent was being utilized in this valley, but it seems to be a little bit more hazardous than what you had faced previously inside your own trenches.
Right. The important thing is don't breathe it in, everyone. Make sure you have these suits on now. Now's the time.
Exactly.
And hey, Jort, you want the flamer or the storm bolter?
Whatever you want, I guess.
All right, take the storm bolter. My companion will be up on the flamer. Everyone else probably don't actually open up the ports and fire. I think that is actually open air, correct?
So that is actually open air, but this is an overpressurized transport. So effectively what that means is the air pressure inside of your Chimera is greater than what is outside. So effectively nothing can get in because you're basically inside your own little bubble so long as
Okay.
Assuming
it's
everything is fully operational.
indeed
Right,
it is.
of
You
course.
could if you wanted drop the back of this Chimera and roll down the road. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could.
But theoretically, then, if anyone needs to, you can point your gun out the side and shoot.
That is correct.
Again,
Also-
assuming everything is fully operational.
Right.
Correct. Also, bear in mind that the more holes this thing gets, the less pressure you're going to be able to maintain.
Right. All right.
All right. So you have 9 suits, and you have, let's see here, Tabor and your comrade, so that's 2. Raygun and your comrade, that's 4. Arcloyd and your comrade, so that's 6. And I don't believe Alexander and his, well, I guess you could call it, yeah. It's not really a comrade, it's a servitor, but still, I don't believe you'd actually need it. However, you have a servitor that is made out of flesh. It might be a good idea to put him inside a mop suit.
Oh, man. It's like you care about him or something.
It's up to you. But yeah, you are navigating just fine. If you'd like, roll me an awareness check. And is anyone operating the Auspex?
I believe, Alexander, that'll be your job.
Sir, not to question orders, sir, but do you think that perhaps the Ratling was better suited to such an operation?
Rattling, are you better than the AdMech over there?
Yeah,
Does this
probably.
require tech use or awareness?
In the
This
past,
is
it's required
awareness.
Okay.
perception awareness, whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be tech use, so yeah.
It
So
was
yeah.
the first time.
All right. What's your name anyway?
So it's tech use if you want to check. So if you wanted to see what exactly this nerve agent around you was, that'd be tech use to use the auspex. If you wanted to like utilize the auspex for things that are beyond the normal scope of perception, that would be tech use. If you just wanted to augment your awareness check, sort of like almost like a mini sonar or like a listening device, then it is awareness.
All right.
And to answer the Sergeant Private Bigby, sir.
All right, Big B, get on the auspex. Do your thing.
That's
Should
a
I
real shame.
modify
We're
it by
surrounded by
any-
chaos at this moment. See nothing.
Yeah, we
Okay.
immediately pop on the map. You're already surrounded. Ah, whoops.
So is there a modifier for the Auspex?
You get a 20-point bonus.
Oh, great.
Yeah, you
First roll fail.
sit there with the auspex on, and you're staring at it for several tens of minutes. Eventually, the tech priest leans over and looks at you, and Alexander, you realize that he hasn't actually turned it on.
You know,
It's
he
just-
probably
it's just
can't break
the
it if he
loading-
doesn't turn it on.
The loading lights in the Chimera are reflecting off the screen, and you see him like he's pressing the button. It's not working. He's trying to tap the screen. It's just not working.
He
But he's
probably
like-
he probably can't break it if he doesn't turn it on.
Very true. All right, so there's that. As you guys traverse this area, oop, I may have broken everything.
Well, that's
No one's
interesting.
alive.
I saw that little thing move. It's like, that's interesting. I guess
Ah,
that thing
that's
can
fine.
break into by itself.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Did I not attach that? There we go. Now I'm sure everything is fine.
I can't
You
wait
guys
for
don't have
something
a turret
giant to
anymore?
can't wait for something giant to come by and rip it off. Which is I assume why it's like that.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. So
And where exactly is our destination in here?
it's
or-
just south. So
Just south,
effectively,
okay.
yeah. So this would probably be the ideal route. So as you're looking at all these different tiles, these nice plush green sections don't impose any penalties to your driving.
Mhm.
All of these sort of brambly areas, the unkempt areas, reduce your movement. And the trees, you actually have to be able to drive through those. So they require a drive test and reduce your movement. But you could go straight through them if you wanted.
Okay, so duly noted. Right now, the plan is going to be I'm going to keep driving on the path unless someone points out that there is something that they observe.
Nothing really there. One thing you do notice is that the closer you get to this farmhouse, the greener and more vibrant the scenery is.
And the greener and more vibrant
Once you
it
get-
looks.
And once you get within around a kilometer of the orchard, you realize that it doesn't look like there's still just fog and mist and everything settled in, but you don't see anything disturbing the plant life. Everything, as far as you're aware, seems great.
Yeah, looks better than ever, actually.
Not at all suspiciously so.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so yeah, proceeding then.
Go.
Until our new halfling friend has to make an auspex roll.
Halfling.
We'll have him do.
It dropped my mind, so I just went straight to halfling.
We don't recognize them here. Do one more awareness check just to find out, and just go with. Try and pick a sense. I'll give you a bonus if you narrow it down to a specific sense. Do you just want to try and use the auspex to locate like physical abnormalities? Do you want to try and check on sound, like try and get a listen as to what's going on outside? I'll just settle down to those two because I don't think you want to try and smell anything out here.
That's a you question, Arcloid.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was. Hey, what's the question again? I'm sorry.
So if you want, you can just do a generic test, or you can decide whether or not you want to try and get focus more on visual assessments of your terrain or auditory assessments. It's up to you.
Let's go for visual. So would that be another awareness roll?
Go for it.
With the Auspex? Auspice? How do you pronounce that?
Auspex. So basically just add a 30 to it. as the little
Alright,
cameras that are attached on
here's
the outside
hoping.
of your chimera allow you to zoom in.
That's not so bad of a failure.
It's still off.
You manage to flick it back on, and you can't quite figure out how to get through all of it. But as you're switching between the cameras, you start to settle in on some of the trees, and it's actually kind of amusing because they kind of look like faces. Like it actually looks like two of the trees are trying to hold each other's hands. It's kind of cute. You get distracted for a while, and before you realize it, everything is destroyed. No. Before you realize it, you guys make it all the way down to your new destination without any difficulties.
Oh, goody.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure everything will be fine.
Definitely bodes well.
Doesn't it though?
Farmhouse time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's a cool little monument back there.
Oh, and a dead guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, also 2 dead guys. Oh, and a gun.
And now we just need to declare where we're coming in on all this.
And
Oh,
skeletons.
Oh, 3 dead guys.
You'll be coming in from the north as soon as I'm able to drop your cool little thing.
Airdrop.
Yeah.
There we go.
I guess 4 dead guys.
Hey.
I don't know why that turret keeps disappearing, but
5 dead guys.
alright, so can you guys see yourselves?
7 dead guys.
Well,
I see the turret.
I
tank.
can see the tank, but yeah.
Is the turret gone now?
Yes.
Yeah.
No idea why that keeps happening.
Is that a pile of dead guys?
We'll,
Or is that
we'll
a
just use our
bush?
imagination.
Gito, is that a pile of
Might
dead
just
guys or
be
is that a
dead
bush? There's so many dead
The
guys.
answer is
Sorry,
yes.
8 dead
No.
guys. You know, I've just lost count of dead guys.
There we go. You now have your turret again.
Hooray, we did it.
We can keep it that way. Oh, I think I accidentally got the bush in there as well.
I didn't even know you could actually link things in Roll20. That's an interesting feature.
Yeah, you gotta
It's-
group them.
Yeah,
It's cool, but it's kind of janky.
Oh yeah, grouping. Yeah, it's been ages since I've done that.
All right, there we go. So you have your vehicle. As you get in there, you notice a few things right off the bat. There are a lot of bodies all over the place.
At least
Mhm.
8.
Some of them appear to be in far worse shape than others. But you also notice as you're driving by, some of them are clearly in the gear of Imperial Guardsmen, particularly the regiment of PDF that you had passed on the ridgeline earlier.
Mhm.
And as you roll out, you can already see one already there. But you have the terrain in front of you. You have what appears to be a large 2-story farmhouse down here, as well as a stable/warehouse over there.
And then this is like the 5G tower.
Yeah, literally, that is their comms tower and their 5G tower. That is how they do communications. It's really, really well built up for a farmhouse, and not at all suspicious.
Okay. I do want to know more about the body before we really proceed, so I'm gonna move the tank over here, and
Oh.
then someone can get out the back and investigate the body, or maybe pull out the aspects or whatever is needed to determine what's going on here.
I'll get the
Right.
largest stick that we have and try to poke it from inside. Poke it out the window.
Sure. Keep in mind, you do have all of your additional gear. You have the supplementary weapons case, as well as the medic bag, and what was supposed to be a sacred artifact box, but instead just carries uplifting primers. Which
Throw a
admittedly,
primer at him, see if he moves.
Yeah. List those off again. First aid, primer box, and what was the
the
weapons bag.
supplementary weapons crate
supplementary weapons? Okay.
from the forges of the Krieg homeworld itself.
Yeah. And I guess since we've been traveling with it for a while, what precisely are the supplementary weapons?
Oh, would you like to open it up?
Yeah, I kind of want to open that up now.
Yeah, sure. You crack it open, and you find yourself with about 12 entrenching tools.
Of
Oh, hell
course.
yeah. I take 2. So now I have 3.
All right, everybody, we're about to start a 6-hour digging tour. I need someone to go out and check the body, determine cause of death.
Who wants to step outside? I'm assuming all of you are putting mop suits on.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll put one on.
All right, you're all suited up. What would you like to do, gentlemen?
Ah! Bigby, cover me! And I guess I'll go out.
All right,
Since you
my
got
gunner will
the
go ahead and man the
sniper.
flamer, and while he's going out, Big B, go ahead and man the storm bolter.
We'll get up in the storm bolter and cover, I guess.
Where your head's at. All right, Big B hops out.
You mean Jort?
Sorry, Jort hops out. What exactly are you trying to accomplish here, Jort?
I'm just gonna look at it, I guess.
All right, roll me Medicae or awareness. There you go. So, you know for a fact that this person is not alive. You've confirmed this through your medical training. You're fairly certain that chest compressions are one way of telling if someone's alive. So you start stepping on his back. When that doesn't work, you kick him in the ribs. And eventually you kick him hard enough to where your boot ends up going through his rib cage. And it takes you a few seconds to shake it off your boot. It's clear that this body being left out here in the sort of gas-filled environment is decomposing faster than one might expect. You do notice, however, that there are a set of dog tags as identifiers.
I guess I'll take his dog tags. And does he have any other gear on him?
So surprisingly, no, it doesn't look like he has any gear at all on him. Like, he has his flak vest that's still there, but his weapons, any grenades, his ammo, it's all stripped away.
Jort, report. Tell me about the plant life around you. What do you see?
Well, I see that bush.
And it looks fully healthy?
And that bush. I'm not a botanist.
It seems fine to you, yeah.
Yeah, Reagan's gonna groan a little bit and go, all right, Jort, go ahead and get back in and man your post.
All
One
right,
thing you do
Mom.
notice is that of all the sort of areas around, there's only a handful of plants that do not look particularly healthy. You see a number of withered sort of mounds, almost like a stump series of brambles that has grown up. However, it's insufficient to actually. It's not. It looks almost like if a tree was made out of a skeleton. It's just a bunch of odd, jutting, very pale wood.
That's radio
without
tower,
any leaves
right?
to speak of. This right here is a radio tower.
It's functional or non-functional?
You haven't checked, but judging by the blinking light at the base, you would imagine that it is functional.
Nah.
Alexander, you're free to do whatever you want with that tower.
That's functional. There's nothing to do.
Well, if we can use it and patch back, then that means that at least we'll have full communications at all time.
Right, it's functional.
Or if they're using it, we can maybe patch into it.
Again, it's functional.
Okay. Bigby. Use the
Yes, sir.
auspex. I want to know if you hear anything inside either of those buildings.
All right, is listening also plus 20?
Let's see. Within 50 meters. Sure. Effectively, you're almost using this like a sonar device, but it's a directional one.
Okay, he says one of his very rare prayers to the God Emperor before he activates the Auspix again.
Should have prayed to the Omnissiah.
And this time, it almost.
To be fair,
came
you are
through.
getting better every time.
Yeah, to be fair. You're
Yeah.
getting used to it.
Just correct those prayers and you might actually have a chance. Didn't apply the sanguinegruence. place smells suspiciously lacking of incense.
As you start to listen,
And
you
no
start pointing.
WD-40.
You start pointing the directional laser sort of towards the building to see if you can get anything from the different rooms. And as you're doing it, you sort of get distracted. Like, is this even working? You start pointing at some of the trees, and briefly you start to hear the static click, and sort of shimmers for a second, and like you could have swore you heard somebody talking from the trees.